Hi and welcome back to Arno.T.V. I'm your lovable host Arno, coming back to you with another video. Now, today is Thursday the 5th of November 2020. Remember the 5th of November. How apt and appropriate. So, it's day number 1 of the English national lockdown, the alleged 4-week lockdown. Now, if you remember, a couple of days ago, I put out a video about my concerns ahead of this lockdown, about how all the new lockdown rules, how they're being enforced much more vigorously this time and far more draconianly this time than they were in the previous lockdown. Now, both LBC and Talk Radio, so I'm glad to see there are a couple of broadcasters now out there that are starting to question things. So I'm going to leave in the description on this video 2 interviews that went out today, one on LBC with Nick Ferrari and the other on Talk Radio with Julia Hartley-Brewer. Now, they interviewed a couple of ladies. The youngest lady is a lady called Leandra Ashton. Now, her and her mum, by the way, is a 73-year-old retired nurse. Now, her mum, Leandra's mum, and her were followed to a garden centre and arrested by the police. Well, should I say Leandra's mum was arrested by the police. Who I've just mentioned is a 73-year-old retired nurse. Now, why she was arrested is Leandra's grandma, who's 97 by the way, and has dementia and has been locked in a care home for 9 months, and they've not been allowed to see their Leandra's grandmama, and obviously her mum's not been allowed to see her own mum for 9 months under these lockdown rules. They felt that she wasn't receiving the right care in the care home. Now, why I say that is before the lockdown started, as I mentioned, Leandra's grandma, who's 97, has dementia, and the family felt that she wasn't receiving enough care, i.e. in terms of being fed properly, so they required a member of the family to go in there every day, which Leandra's mum did, who was a retired nurse, to feed her own mum, make sure she was being looked after. And when obviously the first lockdown started, all this was stopped. So they've only been allowed to see, Leandra's only been allowed to see her grandma, and her mum's only allowed to be being able to see her mum through a window since March. So they'd had enough, and they wanted to basically bring Leandra's grandma home, where her own daughter, who's a retired nurse, was going to look after her full time. Now the state has deemed that this is not allowed, and arrested Leandra's mum. I mean, this is what's going on. Okay, this is what's going on. Now, I want to mention here as well that Leandra and her mum, when someone loses, their faculties and have dementia, they have what's called power of attorney. Now, what that means is because Leandra's grandma's not with it mentally, she can't make financial decisions for herself. So they have that power of attorney. But the state, with all these lockdown rules, have now taken power of this lady's welfare. I mean, this is what's going on. What kind of society in 2020 do we live in where the government, the state, deem that it's not appropriate for Leandra's mum to look after her own mother when Leandra's mum's a retired nurse and knows all about looking after her own mum? This is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And this is the exact type of thing that I've been talking about, that is being brought on under the guise of all these new lockdown rules. And people need to start questioning it, because it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. This poor lady, a retired nurse who's never done anything wrong in her life, has worked all her life helping and looking after people, has been made a criminal by the police for basically taking her own mother home. This is absolutely disgraceful. And those police out there, the ones that arrested her, shame on you. Absolute shame on you. Did you join the police force to arrest 73-year-old retired nurses under these draconian rules? This is absolutely appalling that this should be going on in the UK today in 2020. So when I've said to you before start questioning what's going on. This is the type of thing that I'm talking about. Because these rules, this has all been brought under the guise of these lockdown rules, allegedly to protect lives and save families and protect their health. It's disgraceful. And the government need to start answering some serious questions about things like this. You know, how is it fair that this poor lady and a retired nurse has been made a criminal on the back of this? This is absolutely disgraceful. Disgraceful. And this is day number one. Day number one. So, you know, as I said before, I mean, I know it's hard not to get animated about stuff like this, but this is, if you can't get upset about things like this, then what can you get upset about? Because this, I mean, this is, not only is it appalling and disgusting, you know, what kind of society do we live in? Well, we think that this is okay. That this is okay to arrest a 73-year-old retired nurse for wanting to care for her own mum, who she's not seen for 9 months. You know, I mean, honestly, please out there start questioning more about all of this, because, you know, would you want this to happen to you? You know, if someone told you you couldn't look after your mum when she was ill and they arrested you for it, would you be happy about it? Because I bloody wouldn't be, you know. So, you know, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more, then please like and subscribe to the channel. And, you know, once you do, ring the notification bell so you can get, you know, notified about more videos that I put out. And I'm going to be putting a lot more videos out and coming back to you very soon. But for now, take care, everybody. Look after yourself and look after your family and friends. Stay rock and roll, and I'll be back soon.